This is Access Tech Live.
Okay, let's dive right back into an amazing product which a lot of people were excited about when it came out. I'm intrigued to know if that is, or that passion is still alive today through our very own Marc, who got a chance to get hands-on with the Apple Vision Pro yesterday. This, of course, is now finally available in Canada and in the UK and some other locations as well. So, Marc, I want to go back to the beginning here with this because, you go to the store and, I want to understand this. So do you have to set up an appointment to go and see them, and how does it work?
So, I mean, I was invited down as part of kind of a media initiative to get people to experience it. I think it's one of these products that they're not putting in the hands and sending out to lots of people because of the price tag, I think, of the value of what the actual product is. So I was invited down, but anybody can now go online and schedule an appointment, and you get about a half hour of time with Apple Vision Pro in what I call a guided demonstration. You can't just go willy-nilly and do whatever you want on the headset, which is interesting. So I walked into the Apple store. Obviously, it was all decked out for Apple Vision Pro, and lots of people were there experiencing it. And the first thing you do is they make you scan a QR code, and you do like a face scan, almost like you're programming your phone for Face ID. You tilt your head up, you tilt your head down, left and right. It does it twice. And using that, it actually determines what kind of band and fit you need for your headset. A couple of minutes later, someone comes out with a little tray, almost like a little butler, with Apple Vision Pro, nicely polished and ready to go with the proper sized, strap on the top, and you actually get to put it on. You put the headset on, and there's someone next to you the entire time. And the first thing he does is, you hold your hands out in front of you, so it scans your hands, and it tracks you through the different gestures about teaching you how to glance in different locations. It kind of makes you point to different dots on the screen and pinch. And when you pinch, that's your selection tool. And then it guides you through the process of zooming in, and you zoom in by pinching your fingers together and pulling out or pulling back in or pushing back in. That's how you zoom in or out. And scrolling up and down, again, you use that pinch gesture, and you just scroll up and scroll down like there's something actually in front of you. So that's the first step of it. Now, I did this in March in Phoenix, so I was a bit ahead of the game, which was kind of interesting, and I was curious to see what would be different about my experience. The one other thing I wanted to mention, that for people who had prescription glasses, they had a really expensive Zeiss, optics machine on hand that actually you stick your glasses in, it measures the prescription in real time on site. It does a scan of both the left and the right side, and within less than like a minute, it spits out a QR code that the Apple rep can actually scan on their phone, and they can actually fit prescription lenses onto the Vision Pro so that someone who's trying it out can get that full experience. I thought that was pretty cool. I got that on camera as well, which is neat. So again, they walk you through the experience, and they put you through a different series of different things on the Vision Pro. Obviously, how to navigate the home screen, which is, again, you just glance your eyes and things pop out a little bit larger. It's like when you hover over something with your mouse on a computer, it pops a bit larger. It does the same thing using your eyes, and when you're ready to click, you just pinch your fingers, and you don't have to hold your hand up to do it. The hands just have to be visible to the headset in some way, shape, or form. So mine were on my lap, and I literally just would pinch with my forefinger and my pointer finger and my thumb, and that was selecting. And they brought us through a series of things. Panoramic photos, super immersive. You could look left and right and experience the photos like you're there. Immersive video. This was a full 360 experience, Stephen, where you can look up, down, left, right, and actually feel like you're in a shark tank, or feel like you're out in the jungle with wild animals. There was a demo of a woman walking a tightrope over a giant canyon that was a little bit scary if you have issues with heights. But, the biggest takeaway from that experience, Stephen, is that, the super high resolution of what's being presented to you is completely on a whole new level. Like, if you have tried any other virtual reality or extended reality headset, the quality of what Apple has put together here definitely far surpasses anything else that's on the market. And they're leaning into that. They're leaning into that with the experiences, and they're trying to get you into those experiences. I was able to play with some PowerPoint or Keynote type stuff to show some of the work experiences where you could take graphs and things and look at 3D models and move them around different axes. That was kind of interesting. But you take it off and you're definitely wowed by the experience, and you get a wonderful email that summarizes your experience and how much it's going to cost you. And then you're like, well, that was fun. I don't have $5,000 to spend on this. That was fun.
Yeah.
So the overall experience, I think anybody who's interested in this technology and wants to experience, go do it. Like, it's definitely worth it. If your kids are a little trigger happy and want you to buy everything for them, don't bring them with you. Definitely don't bring them with you. And I've had so many conversations with people about it afterwards, Stephen. And I compare it to this. I say, you can go in and get a computer for $1,000. A MacBook Air, latest processor. You can do anything you want. Video editing, audio editing, you name it. So for 5 times more, what are you getting? You're not getting even close to that capability. You're getting basically a wearable screen. It's hard to justify that. And that is really the only thing. I think if it was within a reasonable price point, and I'm talking about even 3 times what the Quest 3 is, even $1,200, I would have thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is ultimately is the question. I mean, we come back to price on this, and it's funny because I think about it just from my point of view, just for a second, not even from the blind point of view, but from the disability point of view, everything is more expensive when it comes to specialist technology for blind people. So I, for example, bought a Braille display, which would cost, and has cost over $4,000 Canadian, but is essentially a Bluetooth keyboard with that Braille display built in. So how much does it cost to buy a wireless keyboard? Like $20, $30, a cheap one up to $100. So the prices can be hugely different. So I kind of laugh to myself a little bit when I hear all these mainstream commentators talk about, oh, it's so expensive. It's like, yeah, welcome to our world. But of course, this is a mainstream product. That's the point, right? So, here's my question to you. What is the deal with this price? Because, I mean, obviously, clearly it's a great product. You've said this. Many others have said it's a wonderful product, but you're not willing to put your hand in your pocket and buy it. So is it the cost? Is that the final decision? And why do you think Apple has pitched it at that price?
I wish I was behind those closed doors determining the price point on this. Listen, the build, the quality of what you get is definitely high end. When you compare it to anything else on the market, it's got glass, it's got the sensors, it's got the aluminum design, it's got the high-end materials. They've gone full tilt on everything that is done and built into the device. I'm not arguing that I'm sure it costs a pretty penny to manufacture. I think when you look at any consumer electronics, the markup is probably about 10, 20, 30 times sometimes, So you can't imagine, and again, I'm not an expert when it comes to the cost of the materials, but thinking about what goes into it and the materials, maybe it costs them $1,500 to manufacture, maybe, so, when you're sitting in a room and you're trying to figure out who is this for, who do we want to buy it, that's how you determine your price point. And if that's the case, and if that's the thinking that went into it, then I classified this in the same column that I do Microsoft's HoloLens, where it's for very specialized use cases, it's for high-end engineering, it's for the medical field where they need high-end graphics and real quick processing so they can see what they're doing when they're doing a surgery remotely. I can imagine, of course, in medical training where you want to see things in front of you and being able to manipulate stuff like that. And specialized applications, because nobody else, and every use case we've seen in the market, every example we've seen of how people use it, it's never been, I use it to watch Netflix. I use it to watch Apple TV. Those are all the bonuses. The most comparable thing to, I think, everyday life is someone using multiple screens in front of them and being able to kind of manipulate things visually. But guess what? If I want 3 screens, I can buy 3 screens and still be about $4,500 ahead of the process here. So I don't get it. And I don't see how there's a future with it either. Because that, I try to understand it. I try to put myself in their shoes. And I try to say, okay, well, it'll go down in price when the next model comes out. But why would you, to what though? So what, it's going to go in half or $3,500? That's still not the price point that's going to get Bob to walk it off the street and go.
But that's the point, isn't it? And it goes back to that point you've made, that even if they did sell this for $500 or $1,000 or whatever it is there a market for it? And you're saying it has this specialist application, essentially. But it's sitting next to iPhones and iPads and MacBooks, Apple TVs, HomePods inside the Apple Store. It's not sitting inside, some kind of medical facility that are showcasing the latest technology. That's not what this is being sold as. So I just don't understand it. I think Apple have made a mistake with the price, for sure.
I think so too.
I also feel a little bit like this product is a little bit too early in its production. This feels like something almost like Google Glass again. Great product, amazing idea, but it's just not catching on with people yet. Maybe this form factor just doesn't work for people.
I also wonder, when I think about it, is it a necessary product? Like, we heard so many rumors about glass and different glasses and stuff like that, and then this comes out. And, having looked at the history of things like Samsung's VR, or PlayStation VR, or even, MetaQuest, it's all about gaming. It's all about that gaming experience. And this product doesn't seem to even make sense to me in the product lineup. Just as you said, you walk into an Apple store. And you know what? Interesting contrast. When I was in New York, I went to 2 Apple stores. I was in the big Apple store, Fifth Avenue, which is a giant underground Apple store, which is really, really beautiful experience. And not many people were sitting at that Apple Vision Pro table looking at the specs and wondering if I should buy it. There were 4 people trying it out. But no one's sitting there looking at that table. Everybody's around the store at other locations trying different things. This product does not make sense for a company like Apple. It just doesn't.
No, not in the current form factor. And again, you have to look at, and I'm holding in my hand here, the Meta Ray-Ban case for my Meta Ray-Ban glasses. And look at the success of this. This is because it's more affordable. It's something that is stylish. You can wear it outdoors. It has got AI features in it that, of course, are cool, but it's got that cool factor already. It is amazing when you think about it. This is the most incredible product, the most incredible thing Apple have ever made when you think about it. And yet it's the one product that it doesn't seem anybody wants to buy, including me, including you. Now, look, I've got to look at this from the accessibility point of view as a blind guy sitting here. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this all sounds great. Did you get a chance to get any of the accessibility features turned on? Because there are many in there. I mean, it has got the capability to be used by someone like me with software like VoiceOver, for example, which reads the screen. It's all in there. But would I really want to spend that kind of money? Did you get a chance to try that out or any of that out?
No, Stephen, when I said that the demo was guided, it was guided. Like, they literally take you from point A to point Z in a specific direction and focus in on the things that they think are going to try and sell it. Immersive photos, 3D photos, video, all that stuff. The only thing that was custom tailored for me was because I said, work, they showed me using Keynote. That was it. When it came to accessibility, the closest thing I had to anything accessibility was not even this time around. It was when I was in Phoenix and I tried it for the first time. I met an Apple genius, as they call them, the people at the store, who was blind. And I was talking to him specifically about that. And he said, he has used it and it is a very cool experience. But again, the price and the fact that it's just an audio experience for him was completely writing it off as a product. So,
I'm reaching off screen, Marc, because I'm holding up to the camera my AirPods Pro, which is
your Vision Pro.
That's my Vision Pro. Earbuds. That's all I need. I don't need any more than that, which, by the way, were on sale during Prime Day, interestingly. I think a lot of people probably jumped in and got those.
Yeah, I think they probably did because they're definitely on sale. Stephen, let's take a break because we're going to be talking to a very cool gentleman after we do take a quick break. He's the CEO of a company called Cephable, a company whose software is on a mission to help people with disabilities navigate the digital world. His name's Alexander Dunn, and he's coming up next here on Access Tech Live.
There's more Access Tech Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.